You've never seen a desk that'll satisfy your OCD more than this. I'm calling it the OC desk. It has 80 sliding tiles that hold every office supply you can think of, and you can snap them into any configuration you want. I built it to challenge my own perfectionism, and that it did. At the end of the video, I'm revealing it to my brother, the hyper-organization gold standard. I freehand routed 3 of the tiles, and if he can't spot them in a crowd, then I actually pulled this thing off. If he can, well then I give up. I'm moving to Yemen, I don't know. At the very beginning of this build, my precision has to be nothing less than perfect. I'm starting with the desktop, and if I mess up my dimensions for this, it's gonna come back to bite me like a dog that loves the way I taste. So hopefully once I get this desk assembled, it'll be within at most 2 millimeters, because this is the box for all of the sliding tiles, which means if it's too big, we're gonna have a lot of slop, and if it's too small, we're gonna be dealing with some friction to say the least. And this all sounds like an impossible task. So why did I get myself into this? I like to at least pretend I'm a perfectionist. I love being organized, and I love the idea of a desk that looks insanely precise, like every tile was obsessed over. And I love the thought of a desk that's basically just an entire fidget toy filled with tiles. I was a little hesitant to do this project because it needs this extreme, almost ridiculous level of precision, something I definitely have not mastered. And making 80 tiles, each with a custom engraving, I'm not one of those Chinese guys in flip-flops that can carve the statue of David with a butter knife. But then I remembered my brother's office. The guy is basically the human embodiment of this desk. His office is total organization, like the gold standard. I want that. So I'm heading over there to get some inspiration and honestly to see if I can make something that'll impress him. He's basically the gold standard of organization. If it impresses him, it'll impress anyone. At the end of this build, I'm revealing the finished table to him to find out if it actually meets his standard. In hindsight, starting with the desk probably wasn't the brightest move. I don't even know how big the tiles will actually be. It's kind of like buying pants for your wife without knowing her measurements. It's trouble. I'm planning on the tiles being 100 millimeters cubed, which means the inside of the table needs to be about 600 by 1300. You might think, just make the tiles smaller. Not an option. My buddy Paul and I have been designing 3 electronic tiles for months, which are 3D printed and have some pretty cool features, so those dimensions are locked in. If this tabletop's off by a couple millimeters, it goes from Swiss watch to Chinese knockoff. And let's say my handmade tiles are off by 2 millimeters, which is tiny. Across the width of the table, 13 tiles, that adds up to an inch. Why did I get myself into this? In a minute, we're touring my brother's office. He's also a YouTuber, that's why his office is so cool. But I'm setting up a challenge. By the end of this project, I want to see if my woodworking can actually match up with the image I keep chasing. Every tool will be inlaid into the sliding tiles flush with the surface. Most tiles I'll route using a template, but 3 of them, I'm freehanding, with no redos. If my brother can't spot which ones are freehanded, I'll have officially built the perfect desk. In the meantime, that perfectionism is proving to be a bit of a challenge. I have these blue shims here so that when I squeeze those sideboards in with the clamps, I don't squeeze it too far and ruin the inside dimensions of the table. We'll see if that worked when I measure it in a bit. All right, the table's all assembled, and I'm feeling pretty good about this thing. Let's see if this is gonna work. Yeah, buddy. It is right on the money, right in the middle of that line. And now we find out if it's 1300. All right, it's like a half mil off. I will take it. Let us go. Let us go. Ooh, let us go. All right, we're here with Matthias. Are you ready to show me your office?
I want your reaction to be genuine, Joey.
Wow! I've never been here before. This is incredible. I mean, when you were bragging about how awesome it was, I just...
I was bragging.
Yeah, you're like,
he's like, hey, can I film your studio? I was like, sure.
He's like, why? I was like, because it's so cool. What is your organizational philosophy?
The philosophy is kind of like, if I'm doing unboxing right here, I need things that are accessible to unboxing or to camera work or things of that nature. If I'm over there, I'm working on different things.
It's grabbable.
Yeah, exactly. Like all the tools are easily accessible. They're not like in the middle somewhere where I have to go or walk all the way around. Just accessibility and color scheme.
So the reason I'm here is not just because I wanted to see your office. I am making the most organizable, customizable desk made for perfectionists that are just like, it must be perfect.
Like me?
Yes.
Nice. I respect that.
Like you.
All right, if you're actually making it for, you know, the autistic, then I'm gonna be honest.
I hope you will be. Are you calling yourself autistic?
I am, yes.
Imagine this is a desk. Not too hard to imagine because it is one. All your things on the desk, but flush.
Is this the idea that I gave you?
Yes, this is the idea you gave me, I forgot.
Like 6 months ago, I was like, imagine a desk.
It's been a while.
But all the parts are inside the desk.
I had this amazing idea. I better get to work. My next step for the table is putting in the magnets that'll give these blocks that satisfying click when you move them into place, but of course, I made 3 pretty big mistakes as I was putting these in. Hi, I'm Joey. I make mistakes for a living. I will say though, I'm actually glad one of the mistakes happened. This was another one of those steps that took extreme precision. If I have one magnet off, it could mess up the whole table. Because if I move a tile into place and the magnet pulls it off center, it's gonna make sliding all the rest of the tiles pretty difficult. This portable drill press allowed me to drill perfectly straight holes, and it has a depth stop, so I don't drill too far. Had to go free solo around the edges though, because the drill press couldn't get there. Alright, right about now is where my first problem made itself known. First of many, obviously. Welcome to man-made. I used a drill bit that was just one back hair too small, so getting them in was proven to be pretty difficult. Yeah. After a while, I figured out a method that at least got the job done. Problem number 2 is that I accidentally drilled twice as many holes as I needed. Magnets need to just be at the center of the blocks, which made me realize my last big mistake. I was supposed to drill these on the underside of the table. But not to worry, I have a solution for both of those problems. I'm gonna cover it all with an adhesive-backed veneer. Never worked with veneer before, we'll see how it goes. I am really pleased with that color match. Seeing as I've never really worked with this stuff before, I don't really know what the best way to cut this to size is. Seems like it's gonna be kind of tricky. This veneer, which had a 1-star rating on Amazon, has since been discontinued. The wood thickness on it is literally as thick as 3 human hairs, so I'm assuming it can't really be cut with a track saw. The sides weren't square on it, which took me a minute to figure out. Most of the time when woodworkers work with a veneer, they bring their own glue to the party, which ends up being a bit stronger. For me, I thought I'd take the gamble, because what if that 1-star on Amazon is a gold star? It turned out pretty good. Cutting it for an inside dimension was really difficult, and I gotta really smooth it out. Gotta smooth it out with something, a roller or something. After rolling it down, I got it pretty nice and smooth and flat. All right, is the veneer too thick to where I can no longer get a magnetic connection? Let's find out. That is nice. I will take it. Wow, that's actually quite strong. While I'm setting up the wireless charging for those electronic tiles that I added later, I decided to use this opportunity to prepare myself for the big freehand routing challenge ahead by freehand routing the cords into the bottom of the table. First, because I need some practice, and also I want to find out what router I'm going to use later on. I've seen multiple YouTubers disagreeing on what their favorite of the two is, so I wanted to find out for myself. Ketchup or mustard? I ended up liking ketchup better. Felt a little higher quality and had better dust collection. Ketchup's always better than mustard, let's be real. So that's my super in-depth review for you. Also, pretty happy with how straight that line is. I think this freehand routing stuff is gonna be a breeze. So these are all the random white oak lumber pieces that I've accumulated throughout the years. It's gonna be a lot of work, but I gotta glue all these up. I thought this would be so easy, and I am a little overwhelmed right now. I don't even know where to start. It's like every single one of the 78 tiles has to be made differently. Well, technically there aren't 78 tiles because I'm making some bigger tiles, and trying to picture how all these different sizes slide together is shriveling my raisin brain. That's where my sponsor, Claude, comes in. I need a way to actually think through how these pieces mambo together before I slide myself into a corner. Hey Claude, I'm making a desk that has sliding tiles in it, and I want you to make a video game simulation of it. Make the tiles 6x13 and all the tiles 1x1. Oh, I stumped it. I knew it. Oh wow, this looks really good. That's crazy. Let's test it out. Let's see how it works. Click on that. Look at that. That's wild. I just made a video game in like seconds. Back to this in a bit. All right, check this out. When you glue up a board, it has a tendency to be really slippery and really hard to clamp because it slips so much. Little salt. I love salt so much, I put it on my woodworking projects. No slip. This is a huge mess. If you guys like mistakes, wait for this next one. It sets me back probably a couple days. Glued up, these boards are still not the right thickness. The thickness I need is 100 millimeters, roughly 4 inches. I was so focused on all the different tiles I needed, I forgot to think about how I would get these tiles to size. Literally, I was just standing there staring at the boards for so long. Anyways, what would have been the best for getting all these tiles to size the fastest and most accurate would have been to run these boards through the planer on 2 sides. Instead of doing that, I decided this project was going a little too well, so I did this and this. Before I had the right height and depth of these cubes, I started cutting them up. That meant that I needed to run every side of every cube through the table saw. And that sounds annoying in and of itself, only problem is, it's not even that simple. Yeah, it looks easy on that board, but the rest of the boards were 4 inches, and my table saw blade can only cut 3.5. You'll see why this is a problem in a bit. For now, I'm assembling the keyboard tile to get my mind off of it. And this too will sit flush into the table. Remind you of anything? I'll prop that up later, don't worry. So back to my problem solving with Claude. I need to see how the grid handles different shapes, not just 1x1 squares. Claude, add some tiles you'd actually see on a desk. A Lego tile, a grass tile, a clock tile, and add a couple 1x2 rectangles so I can see how the full grid behaves. Oh my goodness, did exactly what I asked. Look at that, that's crazy. All right, now for the big test. Will the 1x2 tile slide properly? That works well. The big test succeeded. Yeah. Okay, 1x2 tiles work. Before we continue pushing Claude to the absolute limit, this is a table saw fence micro adjuster. The normal practice for slightly adjusting a table saw fence is slapping it with your hand, which, as you can imagine, is shockingly not the most effective method, so hopefully this will allow me to dial it into perfection. Or so I thought, and this is where the little misstep of not using the planer first came to show itself. All right, little problem. I have to flip it to do a full cut in the table saw. Ah, man, that's tough. It's wobbling a little bit, that's not good. If these cubes don't sit flat in the table, sliding them will not be an enjoyable experience. My perfectionism isn't gonna let that one slide. You like that? This isn't good. It's not good. Too much wobble. The fence, I think, is pinching in. It should be going a little bit that way so at the end of the blade it doesn't pinch the wood. This is not bueno. So I spent forever fine-tuning the fence, which turned out to not be the problem at all. The real issue was the blade. It wasn't cutting a perfect 90. And when you flip whatever you're cutting, that giant angle gets mirrored on the other side, turning my cubes into giant dreidels. This might turn into a wonderful Hanukkah project. I have to get these tiles to be perfect on all sides, otherwise this table really won't be usable. Starting to realize that squaring up these cubes is not going to be as easy as I thought it would be. I don't know. All right, now that I know that the rectangles work, I need to try the bigger ones. Claude, let's take it up a notch with a double-double tile. Give me a rock garden, a chalkboard, and a corkboard with pins. What? Oh, that's so cool. It did exactly what I asked. Let's see how they function. Boom. All right, that works well. Simple as that. 2x2 tiles are a go. My next big idea was to use the bandsaw, and I've never really been able to get that thing to cut straight, so I don't know why I thought that would work. So here's where I start getting desperate. Bandsaw's not working, I can't get it straight enough. I don't know what it is, I can't figure it out, and I have an idea. And you woodworkers, you're gonna think it's crazy. And you're gonna shout at your TVs and be like, don't do it! I'm gonna run these squares through my planer. It's risky. This is my solution. Make them one board. The reason woodworkers might be screaming at their TVs is that it's not a good idea to put boards under 8 inches through your planer. But just hear me out. When you put boards that are too short in your planer, you honestly risk them shooting back out at you, so do not try this at home. All right, time to test the chubby ones. Hey Claude, I definitely can't go without my keyboard tile. Size it 2x3. Add that in and let's leave only 2 spaces open. It did it. We'll see how it slides. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is tricky. It's like a puzzle, man, using this thing. All right, Claude, let's take it up a notch. Make me a 3x3. All right, here we go. Okay, we've got the 3x3 tile in there. Moving the 3x3 tile works, but now it doesn't, because I've got a 2x2 tile here, and I can't move it up. I don't think this 3x3 tile is gonna work. Yeah, that size kind of breaks things. So the 2x2 is the biggest we're gonna go so we don't clog things up. See, it's helping me understand things, helping me learn. Claude basically let me test a bunch of versions of this desk virtually so that I didn't have to build it and go through the headache of making a bunch of mistakes and having to fix them. If you wanna use Claude as your thinking partner, click the link in the description. It worked! Alright. Man, those don't sit together nicely. This is crazy. Why am I doing this? Why am I making this so hard for myself? Look at that. The top and bottom of these cubes may be parallel, but the sides are not square. So they're looking a little bucktooth right now. Feeling a little overwhelmed right now. Have you guys ever had a project that you felt like you wanted to give up on halfway through? Maybe reading comments like that could be an encouragement to me. That's nice, baby. Okay, that's a relief. It's good. This is good. We're getting somewhere. Don't be overwhelmed, Joey. We're getting somewhere. I decided to stop worrying about it, so I got back to work, only to run into some more issues. That's what makes this job fun, though. My planer stopped working. I cannot push boards through it. Well, anyways, my dad's coming over to help me. GT helped me. He is the man. All right, we just took it all apart and realized we might just need lubricant. So we spent a long time, cut up one of his expensive measuring tools. We got it working! Who needs ChatGPT when you have Dad GT? So the top and bottom of all the cubes are flat and parallel. Now I just need to make sure the sides are all square to them. And I have nowhere else to go than to try to make this work at the table saw again. Otherwise, this project is kaput. It's showtime, folks. This is a big thing. I realized that that red plate sitting around the blade was not flush with the rest of the table, so I fine-tuned it with the hopes that that might be the issue. Okay. We'll see. I have no clue what I'm doing. I feel like that meme of the dog in the lab coat and glasses in the laboratory right now. This is the cut that determines whether or not this project's gonna work. Well, thank the Lord, it looks like that was the issue. Let's see how they fit together in the table. Yeah, buddy! Let's go! Wow, that couldn't have gone better. Seems like everything fit across the depth of the table. Now for the real test. To see if tiny little errors will compound across the width and jam things up, because that is double the blocks, which means errors in dimension are doubled as well. Feeling pretty good about it though. That table saw micro adjuster just might be the MVP for this project so far. It allowed me to get within fractions of a millimeter. Well, looks like it worked because these boards are fitting really nicely. And when I add roundovers to the edges of all these cubes, any remaining gaps are going to disappear. All right, we've made it to the meat of the OC desk, routing the recesses for all the fun little office knickknacks I bought for this table. I've made a rule for myself that might make things a little difficult for me, but entertaining for you. I am not going to allow myself any do-overs on any of the tiles. If I did, I would probably just spend months obsessing over these tiles and trying to get them perfect. So to make things interesting for you and timely for me, no redos. Thing's gonna end up looking like it went through a wood chipper. I'm doing all the recesses using templates as a guide for all the tiles, except for the 3 that I'm freehand routing to test my skills. Everything before that is just to prepare for it. If I can prepare, maybe I can hone my skills and they'll be good enough to fool Matthias, and this OC desk will be deemed flawless. To start with that flawlessness, I made a bunch of templates to route with. If everything goes according to plan, all the little tools and toys will satisfyingly fit perfectly inside. All right, it looks like that first template turned out pretty good. This hole is for this little Bluetooth volume knob. For this one, I made it way oversized so that your fingers can fit in to turn the volume knob. Glad I don't need to redo this one. To route a groove for this battery here, I used this little adjustable router template that I 3D printed. This thing worked really well. It was just my attachment method that didn't. I made the mistake of using the same sticky back tape multiple times. Dang it! Ah! The template slipped. Remember, I don't get any redos, but that doesn't mean I don't get any repurposes. I actually need a bigger hole for a snack cup, so this is going to be perfect for that. Got off on a technicality, thank goodness. For a lot of these, you can't really see, but I tested my freehand routing skills within the templates just to prepare for the big challenge. Not sure it's looking too good. Probably because my hands are shaking like I'm holding somebody else's baby. Especially since I can't even do it right with the templates. This is where I start imagining all the people are going to pause and zoom in when I make the tiniest mistake. I have a lot of fun little creative tiles here that I'm looking forward to showing you, like this corkboard for pinning reminders on. All right, I'm putting brass on one just because I like the look and the feel. I think it'd be nice. This is 0.6 millimeters, so I need to cut 0.6 millimeters off of this. That fine tuning thing is gonna come in handy. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video, I do this for a living and plan on uploading a lot more in 2026, so subscribe so you don't miss my content. In a couple months, I'm 3D printing something the size of a small car, and it would just tear me to pieces if you missed it. Up next is chalkboard. This is gonna be another one of those 4 square tiles. Since the width of the biggest tile is 2 squares, I'll need to leave 2 empty squares inside this desk. If all the spaces were filled, I wouldn't be able to move anything. Apparently, this router has met its match with leather, so I have to find an alternative way to cut it. Up next is the nostril mirror for, I'll remove the protective plastic off that later. This was one of my favorites. I 3D printed a case around it so that it looked like the entire tile was a clock, and I think it turned out really well. I'm curious, if you guys were making this table, what kind of crazy tiles would you come up with? Ah yes, the coffee cup, my nemesis. The thing that almost defeated me. Oh man, I'm scared. I'm so scared. In hindsight, I probably would have just gone without this one because of all the trouble it was. Remember, no redos. I slowed down my drill press and used a gigantic Forstner bit to hog out the hole for this thing. And it just kept getting worse and worse. This turned out absolutely awful. It took me 2 hours. Yep. But like Rocky or something, I rose from the ashes and did what I could to turn this monstrosity into a deliciosity. I decided to just make those cracks even worse. Hold your judgment until I painted at the end. The oak took forever for this giant drill bit to drill through, but it mowed right through this MDF and made these gorgeous flowers that I'm gonna save for my daughter's wedding when she turns 40. All right, back to the rest of all these little gadgets and making holders for them. This is one of the coolest little precision screwdrivers I've found, so it's earned a place on my table. All right. Well, I'm not gonna say my table because I don't think I'm actually gonna keep this thing. Even though I want it, I have big plans for my inside office coming up that just might get me back inside after I made the floating office pod in my garage. If you don't know about that project, that was my last project. That might just be my favorite one to date. I've been using the Cloud Pod non-stop since I made it, so it's been a big success. But yeah, about the desk. I still don't know at this point what I'm gonna do with it, seeing as it doesn't fit my future vision for my inside office. And honestly, I haven't offered it to anyone because I kind of feel like people are only gonna want it if it turns out flawless. You might recognize this little rake here. It's from the rock garden desk I made a while back. Well, I gave that desk to Brian, and then a few months later he finally came to his senses and realized it was totally impractical, so he gave it back to me. And what did I do? I chopped it up and used a lot of the white oak for this desk. Anyways, I thought I would add a little nod to that desk into this one by adding a little rock garden into one of the tiles. Well, the big challenge has come, folks. This is where I test my skills on the OC desk and see if I can freehand route 3 of these tiles so perfectly that my brother won't be able to guess them out of a lineup. If he can't, then I get to pretend my craftsmanship is perfect. If he can, I'll buy Taylor Swift's latest album. No, that's not happening.
This is spicy, man.
All right, here we go, baby.
Woo, I got real close to the edge there.
Okay, I hogged all the material away from the inside. Now it's time for me to get up close and personal to those edges, baby. My vision is kind of being distorted by this thing, so I gotta go no dust collection, which might make things messy. Going light and free, baby. It's like going rock climbing with no harness. It's just me up on that wall, no anchors, just free soloing, baby. No guides. I can do it.
Here we go.
My camera doesn't even want to see this happen.
That's looking pretty good so far. Wow. What the? Neither of these are recording me. What's going on here?
The measuring tape is the easiest object, but each object will get harder and harder to route.
Wow. Let's go.
Look at that! Look how straight these lines are and smooth they are. That's crazy! Sorta learned a new skill here, so you gotta throw me a milk bone and give this video a like.
Alright, this is what it ended up looking like. I am pretty pleased with that. I think it'll look pretty convincing. Let's do the test. She's a beaut!
Alright, this one has a bit more intricacy to it, but the next one, I'm not so sure if I'm going to be able to make that one convincible. One step at a time. I'm using this third-party plate with handles in order to really increase my ability to control the router, because man, this takes a fine touch. I'm trying to hog out the bulk of the material, and once that's gone, I can fine-tune and get up close to those lines, hopefully, without botching this thing too much. And looks like number 2 turned out well. On to the final boss, the Bluetooth speaker. This thing has more weird curves and lumps than my Uncle Rob. I'm having a hard time just tracing it with a marker. Here goes nothing. We have finally come to a point where my hand carving did not turn out so hot. It's pretty wonky up in here. Not super proud of that one. It fits, but the idea is that it's supposed to fit snug, not just fit. Because I could carve a hole big enough for it to fit, trust me. You know what? It's not perfect, but does it need to be? I kind of like that it brings a little story to the OC desk. Still hoping my brother doesn't find it though. Getting toward the end here, I'm realizing I've been thinking more about what people will think of this thing rather than if it actually works the way I want.
Here's the big test. Let's see how it looks. Okay, let's try that again. I'll take it. That's about the best we're gonna get. Can you tell which ones are hand carved? I don't know. Ding, 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 ding. I don't don't know. I think they look pretty good.
Next step is adding finger grooves to all the tool recesses. If you don't have those, these tiles are basically just little tool coffins. Really curious to find out if my wife is gonna like that joke. I'm 50-50 on that. Anyways, this is just one of a few more crucial steps until this table is finished. I made so many tiles that there's no way I could even put all of them in the video, so at the end of the video, during the final reveal, you'll have to slow it down if you want to see all the creative tiles I added.
Man alive. That was a lot of routing. My hand is kind of smushed into this claw.
So I found this little center finding tool online, sized it to fit these blocks, printed it out, and 11 minutes later I had it in my hands and it worked great to mark dead center. Time to install the magnets on these tiles, and this is where things could get hairy. If I don't install these magnets at dead center on them, sliding these tiles could get chunky and wonky. So we'll see after I install them all if everything fits nicely.
All right, we're gonna test out the magnet action, test out the roundovers, and if everything fits nicely after sanding and all that jazz. All right, that's what I'm talking about, baby. It slides so nice, the magnets just snap into place. So everything fits. Look at how nicely that snaps. It all just snaps so nicely into place. Let's go, baby. All right, it's been a hard road so far, but it's going well.
It's time to spray paint the tiles, and this is where we see if using MDF on the bottom of the tiles was a good idea or not. The tiles need to be about 4 inches thick, and getting 2 more inches of white oak for this whole table would have cost at least $1,000. So I'm hoping this is another one of those flaw to feature things I'm always talking about. I originally painted half the tiles orange, and after a while I decided that multiple colors and all that was already going on with the table was going to be too busy, so I decided to keep all the tiles with paint on top blue.
Man, that spray paint smells so good. It's almost too good, like I want to sniff it. They shouldn't do that, right? I feel like that should be illegal. I'm gonna like go back inside at night and my nostrils are gonna be blue. Definitely gonna have some explaining to do to my wife. Woo, lines are looking crisp. Let's go. Alright.
You'll have to tell me what you think about the painted tiles, but man, I gotta say, I think it was an improvement. I really like the way they turned out. I think it looks better than if I just had purely oak blocks.
This is 716 Clean Armor.
It's a UV cured resin that you wipe on, wipe off, and then cure with a UV light. I'm really hoping that that and the paint are gonna make smooth sliding, because the enemy of this table is friction. Got a couple tricks up my sleeve though, so I think we'll ensure smooth sliding. And the first one is a light hand sanding with 1500 grit sandpaper.
Oh yeah, that's smooth, baby.
Even though spray paint is only about 30 microns thick, it leaves a bit of a rough texture, but it's smoothed down wonderfully.
All right, gotta do all sides on every single one. I'm gonna let you skip that step. Woo! Oh yeah, I feel the burn, baby. In the shoulder, in the hands, in the wrists. All right, we're gonna do a little slide test here. This is with nothing. It's actually not bad. We're gonna try dry lube. Let's see how it goes. It slides nice. That's the slick side, look at that. 11 millimeters. This is gonna be a bit of a challenge.
All right, it's time to cut the table to size so everything is sitting at the same height. Gonna attempt a bit of a sketcy cut at the table saw. I have my reasons, but really hoping I can avoid catastrophe.
You like spicy? Well, this is gonna be one spicy treat. Here we go. Never done this before. Probably a reason for that. Probably shouldn't be doing this.
When I finish the table in a bit, you're gonna see how much easier this Clean Armor stuff I'm using makes the finishing process. I'll time how long it takes for me to use this finish. Other finishes on the market can make wood finishing such a lengthy and time-consuming process. Finishing a tabletop could easily take a full day, if not more. Oh, real quick, I wanted to say a quick thanks to Carbon Method for sending me these things. They're called bench nuts. They're great for getting work pieces off the workbench and providing some grip so my desk doesn't slide around. Link in the description. I've used Clean Armor's other products, but this 716 is my new favorite. You just pour it on, spread it around until it fully soaks in, wipe it off, and then turn on the UV lights.
Lights, cure!
And you're done. I did 2 coats to get a little bit more of a satin sheen.
Fully completed finish in an hour and a half. 2 coats, beautiful satin finish.
Up next, the legs, which did not turn out how I was hoping.
Those look strange. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. I'm gonna get something else. That's much better. 3 plant tiles. Need to get the magnet in the center. Just put it on. Put it right where I want it. Hope that the magnet comes off. All right. Magnet's upside down.
When I was trying to dream up all the crazy tiles I wanted to come up with, I really wanted to incorporate some plants into the table. I loved the idea of a little terrarium cube. This is just a little patch of wheatgrass I got at the store. I really liked the idea of being able to just touch grass while I'm sitting at the table. Thought that would be calming. I had my buddy Paul design 3 different little electronic tiles that I thought would be cool features to have at the table. This one is an idea I got from the Unnecessary Inventions YouTube channel. It's called the Day Loader. You press it, and after 8 hours, it tells you when your day's over. This next one is a Do Not Disturb light. If it's green, people will know when they can come talk to you, and if it's red, you're off limits. This next tile is just for your fidgeting enjoyment. It's just a bunch of keys that don't do anything so that you can press them all day without any consequences. This navy blue spray paint has a bit of a classy masculine vibe that I think works really well with the rich color of the white oak. And once I finish the last touches on these squares, I will be finished with the table, and it'll be time to load everything up and reveal it to my brother. I decided to use some of the leftover veneer on the charger tile, which ended up really cool. Feel like it's something that you could see at the Apple store. The very last step was giving this table a nice fresh coat of chemicals in the form of dry Teflon lubricant. Okay, and with that last step, we are fully completed, folks. It's time to load this table up and beautify it so it makes a good first impression and gets the stamp of approval from my brother. And if he guesses where my freehand routed tiles are, then we're gonna consider this table flawed at best. But first, what do I think of it?
All right, it's a little busy, a lot to look at, but I like it.
But we'll see what my brother thinks about it and if he can spot the tiles I freehand routed.
All right, Matthias, we're gonna reveal the table to you in a second. This is the most organizable, customizable table that you gave me the idea for. I want you to be honest, brutally honest, but kind, because I have feelings. All right, turn around in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Whoa, dang, that's no joke. Wait, okay, I'm like trying to understand. It's very busy, but it's super organized. I'm like trying to process it because there's so much. No, like I put it together and I was like, that's busy. Are there any things that I just want on my desk and not in it? No. Oh, look, a phone.
It's charging.
Oh, look, a phone's charging. Oh, that's crazy. Wait, can you give me a second to explore it all?
Yeah.
Where's the tool for this?
You're gonna have to find it.
Got it. Right here.
Okay, you've seen that video maybe?
And so I can literally just
Yeah.
have
But
some
be
fun.
careful, don't splash sand. Sand is the enemy of this table.
Yeah. That's very nice. Very nice.
I
What
wanted
is
to
this?
do a little open
Oh,
one. So basically you press it at the beginning of the day and it goes to 8 hours until your day's done, and then it'll tell you when your day's done. Basically.
that's pretty cool. You got a toy. You got some Legos. Whoa. Okay, so you got some joyrides in here.
Cherryberry ropes.
Oh, it's strong, bro.
Great for sound. Oh, can I talk to you?
Great.
Oh, sorry.
They slide.
They slide, but they're magnetic. They click into place.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The only real complaint that I have is this mouse pad isn't big enough. If I actually had this desk, I would most likely move these things right here and just use that.
I'm giving you the desk, it's yours.
Where do I put it?
I'm just kidding. You want your challenge now?
Yes, I want the challenge.
I freehand routed 3 of these tiles.
Okay.
You have 5 guesses to guess one of them. If you guess one of them, then it is not the perfect table. If you don't guess any of them, then I have the perfect table.
Okay, so I gotta find the freehand router.
This one.
Yes, that is correct. Dang it, that was quick. It's not the perfect table. It looks awesome though. It looks fun.
Thanks, man.
I like it. I could definitely see how this could be just a lot of fun to have and to keep tinkering with. Although it's hard to get some things out.
Well, folks, it looks like I didn't make the perfect table, and honestly, that's probably a good thing. Somewhere along the way, chasing flawless started feeling a lot like chasing approval. And hey, it's still a great table. I thought nobody would want it, but turns out my buddy Jake was dying to have it. Hope you enjoy it, dude. Check out the time I made the most satisfying desk by adding a real rock garden to it. Thanks for watching, folks. I'm praying that God blesses you and your families throughout the new year. Much love.